Today I want to share with you 4 easy dinner recipes that are all made with 5 ingredients or less. So I'm coming at you guys in a totally different place. If you watched several of my past videos, I usually am recording them upstairs in my attic, which is my studio and office space. But today I'm actually in my home kitchen and I'm gonna be showing you guys these easy dinner recipes. They're all made with 5 ingredients or less. So they're gonna be easy on your budget, easy to make, and you may have a lot of this stuff in your pantry already. So 2 of these 4 recipes are gonna be made in the slow cooker, so I'm gonna start with those first, starting with our slow cooker root beer chicken. All right, so we're gonna get started on the ingredients that we need for the slow cooker root beer chicken. And I am starting with 1 pound of boneless and skinless chicken. I'm using chicken tenders, but you can also use chicken breast. Whatever you have on hand will work. I'm gonna use 1 cup of root beer and 1 cup of barbecue sauce. Then for my seasoning, I have in here a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and then some salt and pepper. So you can add more or less to taste, totally up to you. So what we're gonna do is just toss all of this in our slow cooker. All right, so into our slow cooker goes our chicken. And next I'm gonna put in our 1 cup of barbecue sauce. Our cup of root beer. And then our seasonings. So I placed that chicken in my slow cooker, cover it with the lid, and then you're gonna wanna cook it on high for about 3 to 4 hours, or you could do low for about 5 to 6 hours, depends on what time you get it in. Then I'm going to shred it, and you can serve it as is, or you can serve it on wraps or buns. We're gonna actually serve ours on some hamburger buns. So if you want an easy side dish recipe to go with this, we usually serve it with maybe some steamed veggies, like a bag that you can get, a salad, potato chips, some roasted potatoes, things like that will go really great with this. All right guys, my root beer chicken is all done. I took some forks and I just shredded up the chicken, and I am going to serve it on some hamburger buns, just like so. Now you can serve this as a sandwich. This is my favorite way to make it. But you could also do wraps or whatever else you think your family would like. So there is your slow cooker root beer chicken. So next we're gonna be working on another slow cooker recipe, which are slow cooker pineapple barbecue meatballs. They're really easy to make. My kids absolutely love these, and we usually serve them over rice. So as you can tell by the name, you also use barbecue sauce for this recipe. If you are making all 4 of these in 1 week, a lot of the ingredients will overlap for a few of them. So you can buy 1 bottle of barbecue sauce, save some money. So for this recipe, we are going really easy, and we're using a bag of frozen meatballs. Of course, if you have a meatball recipe that you love, a homemade frozen meatball, you can go ahead and use that, but this is gonna take up a lot less time and be really easy to put together. So to get started on our slow cooker meatballs, we're starting with 32 ounces of frozen meatballs, 20 ounces of pineapple chunks. So I get mine with the pineapple juice because you are going to use the juice that is in here. You also need 16 ounces of barbecue sauce and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. So this recipe is only 4 ingredients. So if you do want to serve it with rice, I usually just get some, like a box of instant rice, and that's what I serve the meatballs on top of. So to get started, I put my frozen meatballs into my slow cooker, and my other ingredients I'm gonna mix up separately, starting with my pineapple chunks. So I am going, I'm gonna use the entire can, like I said, juice and all, because I like to serve it, I like it to have kind of like a sauce, especially if you're gonna serve it over rice. All right, next up is 16 ounces of barbecue sauce. And last, we're gonna put in 1/3 cup of brown sugar. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm just gonna grab a spoon and give this a mix before I pour it over my meatballs. So I like to do this in a separate bowl so I can give it a good mix and make sure that all my brown sugar is kind of dissolved in that liquid. But if you don't want to dirty up a bowl, you can mix it up in your slow cooker as well. All right, so into the slow cooker it goes, right over our meatballs. Ta-da! Give it a good mix. Make sure all your meatballs are coated. Alright, so my meatballs are now in my other slow cooker, and they don't need a ton of time in the slow cooker. So this recipe is great if you're kind of getting started late in the day and you need something to toss into your slow cooker. It really only takes about 1 to 2 hours on high and maybe 3 to 4 hours if you're cooking it on low. Our slow cooker barbecue pineapple meatballs are all done, ready to be served. So like I said, I like to serve these over rice, but you can serve them just as is. It's totally up to you and what your family likes. But here is a little peek at what they look like. So the next recipe that we're gonna work on is our salsa chicken. So this is a recipe that actually my mom would make, that we've been making just for years. It's really, really simple to make, easy to put together. It's really just chicken breast with some salsa dumped on it and baked in the oven. It's another one that we love to serve with rice. So if you're making these, like I said, in the same week, get 1 big box of rice. You can have some with your meatballs, and another day, have some with your salsa chicken. All right, so here is what you're gonna need for your salsa chicken. Starting with your chicken, I am using 4 chicken breasts that are boneless and skinless. We're gonna use 1.5 cups of salsa, 1 ounce of taco seasoning, which is usually just 1 pack, and then I'm using 1 cup of shredded cheese. So these are our 4 ingredients that we're gonna need for our salsa chicken, and I like to serve mine over rice. So your 5th ingredient, if you want to serve it over rice, could be some instant rice that you just prepare a few minutes before your chicken's ready. All right, so I have a casserole dish here that I sprayed with some nonstick cooking spray. I put my 4 chicken breasts in it, and then I'm just gonna sprinkle on our taco seasoning on top of all of this chicken. All right, then I'm gonna pour on our salsa. I'm using about 1.5 cups. You can just eyeball it. Use as much salsa as you like. Then I'm just gonna use a spoon and make sure it's all spread on evenly. So we are gonna bake this in the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes, or until your chicken is cooked through. When you're cooking chicken, you always wanna make sure you check the temperature, because the size can make the time vary. But when that is done, that's when we are gonna take it out of the oven and top it with our cheese. All right, into the oven this one goes. Now we're gonna work on our 4th and last recipe, which is a really simple cheesy taco pasta. All right, so for our ingredients for our cheesy taco pasta, we're gonna start with our pasta, and I'm using 8 ounces of rotini pasta, which is about 1/2 of this box. But if you have other pasta on hand, this recipe will work with any of it. I also have 1 pound of ground beef, 1 ounce of taco seasoning. I'm gonna use 1.5 cups of salsa and 2 cups of shredded cheese. To get started, we wanna cook our pasta according to the package directions. So I am starting with boiling some water. And then while our water is boiling, we are gonna go ahead and cook and crumble 1 pound of ground beef. So I wanted to share you guys a tool that I'm gonna use when I cook and crumble the ground beef. I don't know if you've seen these before, but these meat choppers, these are amazing for ground beef. My mom actually showed these to me, I don't know, months ago, and I finally got my hands on one and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna make sure to put a link down below for those of you who wanna check that out. All right, so I'm gonna be cooking and crumbling this ground beef. Look how easy this is to use. I absolutely love this tool. But I'm gonna be cooking this while our water boils and our pasta gets ready. Once it's cooked, I am gonna season it with some taco seasoning. So in here I've added 1 ounce of taco seasoning along with 1/2 cup of water. So I'm not counting water as an ingredient, but I do like to add some water to my ground beef once I've drained the fat out. So I have my pasta here, my 8 ounces of rotini pasta that I have cooked. I drained it, and then I'm gonna add in our ground beef that has been seasoned with taco seasoning right to our pasta. All right, then we're gonna add in our 1.5 cups of salsa. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a mix before I add my cheese in. All right, so this recipe calls for 2 cups of cheese, but I'm actually just gonna put 1.5 cups inside of my pasta, and then the remaining 1/2 cup, I'm gonna go ahead and top it on top of here in a minute. All right, let me grab another spoon besides this pasta spoon to give this a better mix. All right, so I am mixing the 1.5 cups of cheese in here. So what I'm gonna do last, totally optional. You can actually just put all the cheese in it if you want, but I like to just sprinkle that remaining cheese on top. Then place the lid on it. I'm gonna let it sit for just a few minutes, and then it's ready to serve. And now that that cheese is melted, it is ready to serve. So this recipe is now ready to serve. It is so simple to make, so easy to put together, and it tastes amazing. All right, so now that my chicken has baked, I am just going to sprinkle each chicken breast with some cheese, stick it back into the oven for probably just about 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't need a lot of time, just enough time that the cheese can melt. All right guys, now that our cheese is melted, our chicken is ready to serve. All right guys, so those are our 4 easy recipes that all have 5 ingredients or less. So I really hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. I hope it saves you some time in the kitchen. I hope it saves you some money at the grocery store. And if you do like these, make sure you check out the Diary for Real Housewife.com. I have hundreds of more easy recipes just like this one. I also have tons of other videos here on YouTube you can check out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and we will see you guys next time.